welcome. We're going to get some matches played. Right, I think the big decision for us here was, are we going to use the squad treatment? Been umming and ahhing over this. I think one thing about them is that, if we don't use them, we lose them, so to speak. So there's that. We do have 3. That's another thing. We have dropped some points with our squad, even with our, fully fit team. That's another thing. I.e., it's far from certain we'll win these matches without these players available. And that hopefully we will pick up some more players, throughout this season. Some better players. So our squad will be better, hopefully, as a general rule. It'll get increasingly better throughout this season. Now, that's the general rule, though. There'll definitely be dips. I mean, one obvious example, if we get a bid for this keeper, we'll sell him, but then it's obviously a massive downgrade on the keeper. So I think the general rule is the squad will get better, but on any given day to the next day, it might get worse, but the trend would be better. So I think all of those things combined is kind of a reason to just use this squad treatment. There are reasons to, largely, to just use it. I think the big thing in particular is just, it isn't necessarily about how many players are injured, although that's part of it. It isn't necessarily about how many matches they're injured for, although obviously that's part of it. I think the bigger part is just what team. It's less about who's not available in a way, and it's more about who is available. It's more about, considering these injuries, what team can we put on the pitch and how compromised is that team. And I think for us, the biggest thing really in regards to being compromised here is the 2 DCs being out. I think that's the singular biggest thing by far. We will play 2 matches without these guys. And then another 3 matches without this player. And the thing is, unlike the striker, unlike the wide midfielders, and even unlike the DMC now, because we've got a backup, unlike all of these other players, the 2 DCs, the DCs in particular, are the most impactful thing, even for one player being out. Because if Lorena is out, we've got other players that are not, arguably even better. Arguably, probably not, but arguably. Whereas as soon as one DC is out, it's a massive step down. As soon as 2 is out at the moment, it's a huge step down. And that might change in the future if we pick up another really good DC. But until we've done that, that's just what the state is now. So I guess what I'm saying is we are going to use it. We're going to get all our players back, because it's very impactful now for the next 2 matches. And even quite impactful for the next 5, because Octai was out for 5 more. So we've done that. So now I think we can just start. These guys won't be in the team. Probably he won't be in the team. He's probably now going to be on the bench. And he's probably on the bench. So all of a sudden, it's quite a lot of players are coming in because of this. Harburg in. I think we'll just confirm that for now. I think one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put Santos back into the youth team, just to sort of make things a bit easier to select. And I think I'm going to also put Supic back for now. Just to we can bring him. We'll call these players up if we need them to cover for injuries. But for now, we just want to reduce our chances of accidentally picking the wrong team. So Catania is here. Octai is in. Rivera is in. Yeah, so I think this is the team that we want to roll with. So let's go, I suppose. Let's start playing these senior league matches. So one thing we might just quickly do is we'll just check the autumn overall and our autumn league. And yeah, we can win this league, our weekly league, if we get some good results. So let's... we'll see. It kind of feels like if we win all 3, then we probably win the league, although that's not guaranteed, but we probably do. It's what we should be looking for. We look at the overall. We look at Barn. There's a bit of noise going on outside. Right, so they're 3-0-4. They're a pretty average team, and the average teams we've done pretty good against. Okay. I'm just going to check the instructions. I didn't check that before. Interspace, mixed, fast. I think this is right. We do actually have some changes that we could be making a bit more. I do think the interspace passing isn't necessary. The tempo doesn't necessarily have to be fast. There is stuff that we could change that at its core could keep the team. That things that could just make sense to change. So we might just be looking a little bit more active on the changes. So one thing, for example, with the interspace is just if we are failing to retain possession, and it's kind of just giving it up too easily, we could turn that off or set it just to be mixed. Oh, it's a great chance, and it's a goal by Pina. So very good start for us. Just looking at their team, they are playing the AML and AMR and the AMC. I think what that means for us is that it's we could potentially play with a slower tempo because for example, their striker, the AC, the AML, the AMR, and the AMC, probably they're all not getting back anyway with the roles that they have. So, and the other players, the defenders will already be back, and the midfielders are likely to be able to, depending on the roles, and we can try and pay a bit more attention, but they're probably quite likely to be able to get back pretty comfortably anyway. So, like, there isn't necessarily any reason to have to play with a faster tempo. One thing we can just pay attention is to their central midfielders, whether we're beating them up the pitch or not, because that's the only reason. If we're not beating them up the pitch, then basically we're sort of rushing up to not do anything effectively. Like, we're rushing to with no real gain because we will still be attacking against the same players. Now that depends on those central midfielders. Oh, it's a good chance. Oh, we scored. Okay. Another match though, still 0-0, and instead we are sort of cruising. Raphael has the knock, so he's going to be injured. So we just need to consider that one. It is an area where we have quite a bit of depth, the ML and MR, so it's not that big a deal. You know, to be honest, we can probably just sub Basile on now and just try and run the score up a bit. We could sub the other guy on, but I think we will just sub Basile because we don't really... It matters more if the other guy gets injured, basically. Basically, the other guy's better, which is the reason why we're not subbing the other guy on. I'm not sure. Honestly, we could have just left that guy out there. That's one way of looking at it. Because if we do, we got the top level and the conditioning skill. He probably gets to the end of the match at still over 70% condition. So kind of can still do a serviceable job or whatever. And we could have used that sub to sub off other players to make sure that they won't get injured. So arguably that could have made sense as well, but obviously it's done now. And to be honest, it probably was the right move, because I think this match is just won, and probably made more sense to just make sure that other players don't get injured. So yeah, it's almost like our team's just gone back to their usual inefficient ways. Okay, that's a game changer at this point. That really is a game changer. And now I think it's a reason to keep the faster tempo, because I feel like we probably are winning pretty easily now, and already one more goal. Yeah, so at this point, we might as well keep the passing into space. We might as well keep the fast tempo or whatever, just to try and run the score up. Possibly we could also sub off just be looking to sub off our attacking players as well for other attacking players. So like Lorena will bring on a fresh striker, and arguably the other sub should just be Dokken, bring these other two strikers on, and just sort of play it over the top long ball, because they've only got one central defender anyway. So I think we'll just look to run the score up a bit on this one. It may come in useful to win the weekly league. So because we had a pretty bad start. Honestly, I didn't think that after that start we would realistically have any real chance to even to have a chance to win the weekly league. So the fact that we not only have a chance, we have a pretty good one. But it's also, I think, reasonable that if we do win, it could be a tied score. So tied point score. So the goal difference could really matter. So. I think we'll have the big choice now if we're going to sub off the left midfielder, or just go for the two attacking players. Probably the two attacking, I'm guessing, is the better move to run the score up. And probably protecting Dokken from injury is more important than protecting Rivera. So. I'm not quite sure which of the two strikers we sub on. 86 versus 81. Yeah, it's endurance 28. Endurance probably this guy. be perfectly honest, I don't even think we necessarily have to wait until Docking gets down to 80% condition. Arguably, we should just sub him now. If we're going to do it, we might as well just do it now, or we do it for some other player now. But well, either way, we should just do it now. So let's just hit the pause and do some sub of some description. Because the other option is to sub off Octai. But yeah, let's do this one. I think here mixed. I think now we just go direct passing. Just launch it up to them. Is this our biggest win ever? I think it might be. Obviously, though, the red cards are just... I mean, they're such a backbreaker. Like, it's so dramatic in regards to how they impact the match. Or at least they should be. So, if you find that they're not for you, then just think a little bit more about specifically how you could... look to exploit the fact that they've got this player missing from somewhere, wherever that may be, because it kind of almost doesn't matter where it is. It may require you doing some tactical tinkering to sort of compensate for that, but I just think about it more like in the case where they're missing a DC, for example, just having that extra central striker, like we did. We just put 2 strikers and played long ball because they've only got 1 central defender to try to exploit that. But you know, missing a central defender is like generally pretty exploitable no matter what you do, but it doesn't matter what the position is. There's something you can probably do to exploit that, even if that's just their one attacking player down, so you can just sub off one of your defensive players and bring on another attacking player, sort of thing. Just think about it a little bit. But it should always be the case that if you find yourself a man up, that you should be able to... That should be to your massive advantage, pretty much. And if it isn't, you're doing something wrong. Or you're not doing something right, let's say. Right, so very comfortable win. I think our biggest win ever. Not 100% sure on that. Maybe we... Honestly, I'm not 100% sure on that. Probably is, though. Right, so we got an injury. I think it was just the one. So, yeah, Raphael is out. So I think that leaves 2 options. Which I think we probably just want to put him on the right, Garrido on the left, and then Palamai on the bench. I think Palamai just didn't... We gave him quite a run in friendlies and stuff, and he just didn't really perform that well, to be honest. When the next boost comes in and he gets the +4 speed, +3 strength, at that point he'll be 91 speed, 73 strength. We probably look to use him a bit again then, because that's pretty awesome at that point. To be honest, we could just use him now. I don't think Garrido is particularly great, especially at the up and back row anyway, because he can't tackle. So, yeah, let's actually put him in now. Right, it does require some changes here, so it requires us to basically invert the tactic. To this, and then other than that, I think it's just the same team. Alright, let's go. Let's try and get another win. So, 5-match win streak. Wilson Gaming. (3-1-3). So another sort of mid-range team. We've been doing alright against them. Bradford Academy there, top of the league with 8 wins and 4 draws. So, yeah, that will definitely be in front of us. There's another team here. There's some pretty high flyers, so we got some... oh, and there's a bunch of teams here. Looking here, 7-1. Oh, there's some undefeated teams. Honestly, like, we're just not going to obviously win the... there's a lot of teams in this league, right? 562. But, you know, I think we'll be... we're just going in for promotion anyway. We don't need to, you know... I think inevitably along the way, we're definitely going to pick up a lot of the weekly league. The little... the weekly league trophies. It's going to be inevitable if we're pushing for promotions. But, you know, winning something like this is... It really has to be your focus, I think, to win it. You got to be buying a lot more now players as opposed to... multiple months into the future players like we're doing. So, but you know, again, our overall objective of this series is to get to the Masters League. I wouldn't necessarily say as quickly as possible, although we want to get there reasonably fast. You know, we don't want to wait around for months and months in any given division along the way. But you know, it is partly. I think we covered this in the intro series, but it is partly, you know, getting promoted to the Masters, but it's also doing things properly and also just making that, you know, that the team that we're in the Masters League with is set up to be successful long-term in the Masters League, even though we won't go through the process of being long-term and successful in the Masters League. But it's about having everything set up for that, basically. You know, having a good youth setup in place, having lots of good future youth prospects coming through, having... you know, just everything sort of set up correctly, having a lot of senior players that have a lot of intrinsic value in various ways, whether that's monetary value to sell or they're just younger and have a good future and whatever, or very valuable to help the team win and so on. So, so yeah. Anyway, back to this match. Well, we scored at the start. It's amazing how much easier all of a sudden everything becomes when you score an early goal, to be honest. It's just... it alleviates so much pressure. I mean, it's not surprising. It's just... I would say it's obvious, like... how much it helps. It really is. Just, it's... I think particularly when you're the stronger team, the better team, getting that early goal, it really just kind of makes it your match to lose, so to speak, at that point. And you look at things tactically a little bit different. You don't have the pressure, so to speak, of having to score a goal or having to score 2 goals anymore because you've already got it. So all of a sudden your focus is just on, like, are we not giving up things that we don't want to give up, and are we still just generally creating decent chances versus, like, are we definitely going to score goals? And it's much easier to, especially when you're the better team, to just sort of have things set up in such a way that you're kind of just controlling the match and you're not really giving up the types of chances you don't want to give up. Here's an example of something we just do not want to give up. So the question is, can we do something to prevent that? It was down our right side, which is our more defensive side. So I would say probably not much, to be honest, without significantly changing things a lot. If it was on the other side, we could think about it a bit. But I don't know. It's down this side again, so let's just think about it. Let's just think about it, even though it is down the right and not the left, because we've not seen anything dangerous down our left. So we've had a couple of warning shots, one really significant one, and here they come again. So I think what we can do is we can I think we can take something from that. It's enough there. Let's just move this guy, offset him to here for now, and then we'll just pay attention if we're giving up anything on the left ever or not. But until that's true, we can just leave this guy offset to the right. So it'd stay that we still gave that up through the right, because that's where the attack sort of built through, and they managed to get that chance because of a missed tackle. There's a great chance. Alright, so that was giving up something on our left side. We'll just keep that in mind. So far, yeah, we'll just keep it in mind. Try and be a bit proactive. If we'll leave up, in other words, we'll leave this guy offset for now, but if we give up a little bit more on the left, we'll think about it again. And we'll just keep going. I think one time we can think about things a little bit more as well is when we naturally have to make a substitution, which will be coming up. So I think our forwards are seemingly typically faster than... Oh, there's a great chance as well. That was a fantastic chance, that one. So I'm okay. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we're creating enough that there's a decent chance we will score another goal, and our focus should just be on not conceding at all. But you know, that's sort of obvious. But yeah, like I said, decent chance we'll score one. But it's sort of obvious, but it sort of isn't. That's the thing. It is definitely like, because ideally, yeah, of course, ideally you always score more. Ideally you always concede none. Ideally you always score blah blah blah. But it's like you can't focus on everything. You can't always achieve everything, and it's certainly like very difficult to achieve all of these things, at least with minor tactical changes, because your fundamental system needs to be achieving at a high level these things. But you can tweak things to solve or to achieve specific ends quite easily. I.e., like, they're attacking, their right winger is getting too much, or whatever. We can do something to stop their right winger from getting so much. Like individual problems like that you can solve, and it's just a case of trying to work out what are the problems, right, that need solving, because you're giving something up typically in order to solve the problem. You're sacrificing something, basically something else, and you need to try and make some decent judgments at that. But right now I'm just going to stop it again, because this is all down our left side now. It's a fantastic chance. And we have a bit of a luxury now because we've got the 2-goal lead, but let's not forget that we had a 2-goal lead earlier, right near the start of this season even, and we got a 2-2 draw because we were complacent and not thinking about the types of things that we're saying to think about now. So I think we gave a bit too much up on the other side. We're going to now set this guy back. And now this guy is tired, so it is kind of time to potentially change something. I think one problem is that Bazil cannot tackle. So one thing we can do is we'll just change this guy to be a defensive winger at this point, so he doesn't bother surging forwards as much. Um, it's going to curtail quite a bit, like potentially hurt us attacking quite a bit. But again, like I said, you're always giving something up. So the focus now is just to not concede. I'm going to make another tactical change. So this is on our right side. Right, so we'll take off Lorena. Just trying to think what striker's better off coming on. I don't know. He's probably this guy. Probably. Still thinking about it. I say probably, maybe not. Probably it should have been the other guy, because the other guy's faster, so it would provide more outlets to play a ball down wide or whatever for him to run onto, and then to cross and do this and that would just generally drain time. And that was... Anyway, it's done now, but it was probably should have been the other guy if we thought about it more. And then we got one sub left. This guy's down to... Oh, we got two subs still. So we can definitely sub this guy. I think this guy can just become a regular winger as well. So at this point we're quite a bit more defensive. And the other thing we can also do is sub the central midfielder if we want. Or sub a central defender. I think we'll sub the central defender. Mostly that's a combination. It's not necessarily just the move to win this match. We think we probably got it won. That's also a move to just think about the fact that it hurts us a lot when our central defenders get injured, one of those starting three, so just get one of them off. But it was also the one that is the least needed to win this match as well. So Catania is really, and Boothway, they're like, I don't know, they all play their roles. They're all very important. I think he's just the least important out of three very important ones. It's a great chance. So I'd say this is just a very comfortable win. Now, we had a match that was very similar. I don't know if it was, to be honest, because they haven't created much. Still very interesting, though, right? Because they've had equal possession. They have more possession and more territory, right? Yeah, we have just dominated this match in regards to chances. And not just shots, but, I mean, chances. But that's part of the fast tempo. You know, we're just looking to make something happen. So this one is 1 at this point. Alright, one left. Let's make it 3 for 3. I don't know, I was kind of alright with how the team played, to be honest. So, I think I can just leave it as is. Let's go again. Kolejovi. Two on three. So another one of these mid-range teams that Right. Yeah, I think this is an active user though, because they've not. They've only played 6, so it's worth bearing in mind. But they're a mid-range team. I think we should be able to hopefully beat them pretty comfortably. Gosh, I just wish he was more efficient. It just feels like we would be winning every single match if he was. Oh, this is a great chance. Oh. Actually, yeah, so they've all fallen to AMC. Yeah. Well, we already mentioned it, but it is something. We are really trying to solve it. We're not just saying it. We are looking. We're trying to. I think we found someone finally that would all kind of be perfect, but they were 32. So it is possible for us to get the player that we need. And we definitely could develop one through our own in-house ranks, but through, an academy trialist and develop them up, but it just take ages. Anyway, so this guy, he came in for the injury. Curious how good, I might just pause to have a quick look so I don't forget. Curious how good his finishing is now. Whether that type of outcome is something we can reasonably expect from him when he gets through like that, or whether that was an exception to the norm. Oh, it was a great cross. Yeah, like that type of. So let's compare their finishing, shall we? Quickly. Right, so this is a guy that's got 50 finishing, 14. So not awesome, but then this guy is 19 finishing. So yeah. So yeah, I'd say that second horrible, hopeless attempt is something that can be expected. But that first one, I'd say, I don't know if it's expected per se, but it's not. Well, it's a lot better that the chances fall to him, let's say, than the other guy. Let's put it that way. Stocking again. At least we got a goal now, though. As we were saying last match, like, it's certainly It just makes it a bit easier. We just need to know what to look for. Yeah, so deal with that. We'll see what the condition ends up looking like at half time, because we have the conditioning manager skill, but it is looking like we are going to end up more tired at the end of the match than them. So that's something we need to keep in mind. Jeez, he's got to score some of these sometimes. It's such a big deal. You know, I don't even know. He had 6 shots, 7 shots, something like that. I think he might have even had all of the shots except for the one that scored. It's possible. And that gives us enough breathing space now that we probably should be okay. I was already thinking about this MR, whether we should sub him off or not. I will now, but if we only had the 1 goal lead, I was going to leave him out there. And I'm trying to explain why. It's because he's got 62 tackling, and we can't we can only sub on the MR because the other guy can only play ML here. So and this guy's only got 16 tackling. So that's would have been the reason. But now we're just going to do it anyway. Decent attack, and that actually all stems from the guy who just came on as well, running up the wing with the ball. Feeling like we had enough build up there. Some decent chance felt coming at some point, and there was one, but we missed it. All that's pretty good though. Just trained, using a lot of time up when we got the 2 goal lead. That's pretty awesome. That's what we want. And free kick, which is pretty good. Oh, another great chance. We've kind of got an interesting decision come up because Dokken is going to be below 80. I guess we will sub him off, but it's like, what do we then do with that? Let's just get it prepped. Can bring on a striker. I don't know. I feel like okay, well that's one option. I think another option is we can bring on a central midfielder. They're about the only 2 options I think that make any sense. I think that might have been... Was that Dokken again? Just missing 2 more shots? I think it was. Alright, we'll sub him off. Who only knows how many shots? I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring on a central midfielder. And then it's just which of these finishing 65. It is Lapumment, so I think he could just come in as attacking midfielder, and I'll just move him to be more central. And at this point, we might as well make Basile attacking winger as well. So we'll just it's just for balance reasons, because we've taken out the creative forward, so it's just about putting the roles in to make sure that we still have good balance to keep the attacking play, because I like the possession, I like the attacking. I think there is some genuine truth to the statement that attacking is the best form of defense, provided you are actually attacking. That doesn't mean having more attacking players is the best form of defense, but if your team can constantly be attacking, that is the best form of defense. Right now we're just checking if we can make a sub with some extra aerial ability in the box, potentially this striker, but yeah, that's not the sub we want to do because he's not tired. We'll want to sub somebody else in a second, so let's just prep the pause. Hopefully we get it now. We don't. I suppose, is Lorena going to take the penalty? No, it's going to be Octai. So we don't want to sub off Octai. I think we can just sub off Boothway, because this match is certainly won. So, and he's missed the penalty. That's okay. We don't need it, and it's the only one he's ever missed. So it's better he misses it when it doesn't mean anything. Kind of does raise the issue though, like again having like a player, a striker or an AMC that has like very, very clinical finishing. It has some other bonuses like the penalties, for example. So scoring them instead of missing them is not insignificant. Pina's injured. Okay, we got away with it. Maybe they would have scored then, but it wouldn't have mattered because we had the 2-goal lead. So I'd say that's 3 very comfortable wins. We'll just quickly set up our team. Pina's out for 7 matches. Raphael 1 more. That's a big injury. It's a big deal. We have finished up the matches now, though, so we might end up being for this week. So it could be a few days if we wanted it to be until we played some more matches. So I'll just put a Krieg on the bench for now, but we might end up hopefully getting a central midfielder before we play more. We'll see. So yeah, very, very comfortable wins, I would say. We're going to just finish this video off now, and then we're going to start another one. We're going to do the couple youth matches, but yeah, obviously a bit of a shaky start, but then all of a sudden, was that 7 wins in a row? Really got everything together. And I'd say in all of this, like these 2, we dominated completely. These 2 here, this loss and this draw. But this loss and this draw, they could have been wins, they could have been losses, they could have been draws. But yeah, we've found our form. So yeah, thanks for watching, and let's get these youth matches played.